stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I don't know.
Like
It's
why?
like I
What's your
did.
problem with clients or whatever?
Not really. It's just kind of like figuring out what the fuck I want to do. Because I think the interesting thing about the whole industry, or like the whole medium, right, is that videos become such a huge thing. Like it's not just film industry. It's not just like even within YouTube. There's so many different categories and shit that I feel like it's almost like you're given too many options, so you don't know what to do. That kind of thing.
You feel like you have too many options?
Well, I guess if I take a step back, yes. If I look immediately in front of me, I just don't even know what's there, I guess.
What are some of the options that you feel are there?
Well, I guess it's like, I feel like content creation is an option for anyone who's in video at this moment.
So
right?
becoming like a social influencer type of thing?
Yeah, except I hate the thought of it. You know what I mean? But then at the same time, it's like I feel like you are a unique vein in the sense that you're like an influencer, but not. You're like a video creator, but not.
I actually had the same conversation with someone earlier. Shout out Lee Created, and I told him the same. I said, influencer is just like a weird word. In reality, you can't. There's no such thing as someone who's like popular on Instagram, but is like Instagram is kind of like real life now in a way. Like if you have an audience as a video creator on Instagram, like as a music video director or whatever, that means you have an in real life audience of people who like your video work. It's kind of like it blurs the lines. It's no longer separate.
Exactly.
Well, first of all, I think everyone should be like presenting their work. It could only benefit you to share your work and try to foster some sort of audience around it. Even if you don't want that to be like what you do,
right?
It like would only benefit you to have. It'd make your platform bigger because even if you did music videos, you would be able to charge more because you'd have more eyeball. You could be like, hey, if I shoot your video, I can get 10,000 people to watch it just because I shot it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's what keeps bringing me back to like social media and shit like that too, especially Instagram. Like I don't know, I have a love-hate, mostly hate relationship with Instagram, but then I just keep coming back to it because it has so much value, and from a business perspective, it's kind of a necessity almost. I feel like, especially in the creative space. But I think the more I get into it, just like I don't know what I'm striving towards. Like, am I just using it as a portfolio, or am I trying to like establish myself as something? Just like, I mean, my audience is puny, but then because I focus more on real life relationships, I guess, and then it's mostly actually from those people that are like, yeah, just take it online, do some like shit with it. I know you can do something, and then so I always like think about it. But when it comes down to sitting down and like trying to make content for anything, whether it be Instagram, like as a photo, or if it's a YouTube video or anything like that, it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's not me.
You're not passionate about it?
Exactly. So then now I'm like considering the whole, like where do I sit on video itself, right? It's like I like shooting videos for the people I respect and shit like that, but okay.
I love it.
You're so annoying. And the other one's just taking a piss. Jesus.
So what are you? Okay, so what are you know what you're like, kind of interested? What like ideally, if you could be doing anything, what would you want to do? Do you know? Like, what are you super passionate about? That's not just paying the bills. Like, honestly.
So that's the thing. I feel like in the last few months, that's the crisis. Like I've lost it.
You don't have a passion.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I used to be able to say, like, oh yeah, just capturing memories. Because the whole thing is I started photo and video through exes.
What's that?
Like, through, like, ex-girlfriends. So, like, for photo, it was a girl that wanted to do a fashion blog. And for video, it was for vlogging for this girl that left to Korea. So, like...
Now they've left you, and you're like... Your passions have left you.
Nah, dude, it ain't that dramatic.
So you need to find another girl.
No. It's like, because it started with that way, I feel like, for example, with videos, one person's my audience. And that's all I really cared about. And that's what my passion was, is like just documenting my day for one person, right? But the second that kind of branches out to like documenting for multiple people, that seems weird to me.
Well, the person that you can make content for is yourself, and then whoever wants to watch is welcome to do so. I mean, you do have to, depends on your goal. Yeah, if you're trying to grow an audience, then you do have to consider like what would bring value to them that maybe is not your favorite at first. But it's a little bit of both, I guess. But I mean, I feel like we still haven't hit like the root of the question.
Oh shit.
Oh, you're still trying. So like, you're just unsure. Of, I heard something too. I read something. I heard something. It was like, you don't just find your passion. You become passionate about what you do often. So like, find something that you enjoy or try lots of different things, and then like the ones that are most fun for you, the more you do them, the more you're going to get better at them, and then the more you're going to enjoy them. And it kind of is like a mutually fulfilling process, kind of.
True. I don't know.
What do you mean?
Because I mean, I've done pretty much every genre of video, I feel like from weddings to music videos to more like experimental shit to sports.
What do you do for fun? Like, what do you do for fun? What?
Troll videos, I guess. Like, I used to just do a lot of stories. Like, I think in your last live, somebody mentioned Jesse Driftwood.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of like shit like that actually. But now it's kind of become saturated. I feel like that's my biggest clash is like I hate anything that's. I'm like a low key wannabe hipster in that sense.
You don't want to do what's saturated. I feel you.
Yeah, and that's like it closes a lot of doors though. You know? Like,
but
I don't know.
What? It's not. You is not saturated though. This sounds so cheesy, but there's nobody. There's nobody. There's no one. There's only one you, right? So if you're genuinely putting up stuff that's genuinely you and in your own voice, not trying to be anything else, then there's no way that it can really be saturated because
True that.
There's only one you. There's only one you with your life experiences and your story or whatever to tell. But I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like the genre can become saturated. So I don't know, because it doesn't really matter though. It's not about who did it. It's not about how many people are doing it or who did it first. It's about who's doing it well.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. It's just like I feel like I have this ingrained fucking creator mindset of that.
Like if you could, when I said like what do you do in your spare time, like not even related to videos, like what is just fun for you to do? Like, okay, ask yourself this hypothetical question: if you could make a living doing anything, like money didn't matter and it was guaranteed that you're gonna succeed at that thing, what would you want that thing to be? Like playing with your cats or something.
Yeah, man. No, actually, I think it goes back to that. Like, I actually really enjoy just, like, documenting shit. You know what I mean? Like, whether it be written or visual or whatever.
But what takes the fun out of it? Needing it to, like, make money and whatever.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that's what it is. Just, like, because right now, dude, I have, my calendar I have zero downtime, essentially, from morning to, like, for, like, 16 hours straight, right?
Yeah.
Every day. And I'm just kind of like, I think that's the issue where if it takes away time from other shit, then just like it becomes less enjoyable, I guess. Or it feels like, oh, actually, I wanted to make a video about this. It's like rest versus procrastination. And I feel like for me, anytime I try to just rest, it becomes somewhere in my head procrastination or like I'm doing it wrong so that in my head I'm resting, but like my body doesn't feel rested. It just felt like I was procrastinating, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, because like a lot of people do things on the side, and I tried to for a little bit, but after a while, I just felt like I was just taking time away from like the money grind, essentially for video, right?
So did you quit like a previous job to do? So I mean, you're already doing freelance only. I think that the problem is you don't have like an end goal that you're grinding towards in a way. Like me,
absolutely.
I did like I quit a retail job and then I was doing like whatever scrapping together because I did have some sort of vague goal of like building up the YouTube channel or building an audience and monetizing myself.
And I always see you like you post your written goals, right?
Well, yeah, I posted one recently, but like that my goal was to monetize out of my own hobbies and make it work. So like you are in this like what's the word? What's the place in between heaven and hell?
Oh fuck, P.
Purgatory.
Purgatory, yeah. There we go.
You're in this like mental purgatory because freelance I feel like isn't supposed to be like a, forgive me for anyone who is enjoying freelance permanently, but it sounds like this is something that you're doing in the meanwhile of trying to figure out. How old are you again? Like 24?
Yeah, actually. Turning 20. Yeah, holy shit, dude. Memory.
I have a good memory. I was kind of a guess. I mean, you're still somewhat young too. Like, so, I'm 25, but I mean, like, I didn't start like picking up like pace until I was 24 too. So it's not like what if you just take it day by day, and by the time you're 26, you know what's really important too that you might not realize is like when you're doing freelance, the relationships that you're making with people. Like you said, you're working on in real life relationships.
Right.
You actually do never know, like, what if those 3 dudes that you shot a music video for blow up, and now your plate is full because you're their personal video guy and you're flying around the world and it's fun again.
Yeah. Like, well, actually, low-key, that scares me, actually. Wow. It's just like, shit, if they blow up and I gotta, like, follow them around.
Well, what do you want, though? What do you want?
Exactly. I don't know, dude. That's why. Like, fuck, man. That's the question. I don't know what I want. It's like disappeared somewhere along these 16-hour workdays.
I guess like, I don't... Was that, like, the main question that you wanted to pick my brain about, or is there something else, too? What is I'm still. I don't even know. What is the question?
That is the question, really. What is the question? It's just like I'm in this weird, like you said, purgatory, right? So it's like I just want to get.
So you don't have a defined goal.
I guess so. Like.
What inspires you? Like when I was. Well, what inspires you? Because when I was trying to figure out my goals, I was looking around at other examples of people who either made something from the same area as me, so like the local area, like this dude went to my college and did this. I was also like, I mean, yeah, I found like a couple of, I would look around and see examples of people doing cool stuff and think I want to do something like that. Or like, hey, that person's doing something cool and I think I can do it even better. Or like, I mean, I don't know, I started a podcast because I was constantly listening to podcasts. I started a YouTube channel like a long, long time ago because it was just fun for me to post videos. And then once I came time to graduate, I never saw myself getting a job. And so I started like thinking, well, what can I make a living out of what I enjoy and like, obviously it's not pure fun. I have to work too, but like, I don't know. I guess I can't.
That's what it is. What? Like I feel like I've been seeing examples that are really appealing to me because I mean I know a lot of people in my close circle. They'll see like I don't know travel photographers, video people, or like content creators like Peter McKinnon. They're like, oh shit, I wish I could live that kind of thing. But for me, it's just kind of like sure, like financially wise, yes, I would love to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But then in terms, I don't know, like my personal life, or just like my values personally, I don't think it gels well. So the reason actually I think in hindsight that I reached out to you is that you're like in this weird space where your life is not really on screen, but it kind of is. But like, you know what I mean? Like it's very different from the other creators that I've seen on YouTube.
Okay, you mean like I have a thing that's kind of separate from personal, but I also have personal. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Like it's not like over the top character. You don't have to like force energy. You don't have to like adopt any sort of persona. It's just like, hey, hi everyone, I'm Justin Bishop. That's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like how do you find that? Right?
You know what? I actually have written down too, like because sometimes it's awesome having an audience, and sometimes it can like suck having an audience who expects a certain thing out of you, because I
Right.
have given them so much like tutorials and whatever that sometimes if I want to talk about something else, I kind of screw
Right.
myself. So I wrote
Yeah.
down like, you'll never not enjoy having an audience if you build it by being yourself, because then they'll like you for who you are, and now you have people that just enjoy now you have people that like you for you. It's like if you start a relationship with anyone, it's like if you make a friend in real life, and you're like, you build the friendship on some sort of lie about yourself,
Right.
then the friendship's not going to
Later
be
on.
fun for you. But the friendships that you build for yourself that are based around like you just being yourself are going to be fun for you. So
Right.
if you want my like my what my experience is like, I like what my lifestyle is like. You're right. I could walk anywhere, nobody will recognize me, or like I've been recognized like once or
Oh
twice,
shit!
like
Really?
twice. But like I haven't. I can walk to the grocery store. I can get lunch. I
Right.
can do whatever. Obviously, I have no issues. So like, it's nice that I have like a personal life, but at the same time, I also have like an outlet to share things that I'm interested in with like-minded people, because like
Right.
the music that I like or the things that I like to do, I wouldn't have had that otherwise. And it does feel really
Right.
cool, like just having this conversation. You want the truth right now? Before we had this conversation, I was sitting here, I was kind of bored, and I was also kind of like I was just like kind of feeling like a little like because like
Right.
I wanted someone to talk to,
Right.
and
Right.
and
It's a
then
weird thing.
and then randomly you're like, hey, do you have time to do a thing? And I'm like, normally I would like sometimes I would get annoyed of having to answer too many things because I have to
Exactly. Yeah.
answer them all day. But this is like a situation where it's like cool. It's like, ah, cool. I have someone to talk to for like 10 minutes, and maybe I can help them out. You know how it feels good to
Right.
help other people sometimes,
Oh, absolutely.
and so like, and I'm able to make a living out of it. And so, honestly, it's like I can't imagine me doing anything else. And
Right.
I guess I was just lost like you, and I was in college and the only thing that was holding me back was nobody ever told me that you could make a living. Nobody ever told me that I could make a living being me in a way, or
I
like
see.
but then I somehow found the confidence and research and read a bunch of books and found the examples around me to get this outrageous idea and then like start trying to make it work, and it kind of all just fell into place. So I think, I'm not a life coach too. I'm basically the same age as you, but the only thing I can say is like, just take it day by day, and maybe like one day inspiration will strike you, but also be thinking about it, I guess. So like, hey, what's the point of making big plans? Like, you never know what's waiting in
That's
front of
true.
you in a way. And you can do anything that you like set on your goal list if you work at it each day and make progress. But if you don't know
Yeah.
what that goal is, there's always things that you could do to like just in
Find it.
general, like go to the gym, eat healthy, network with people who are interested in what you're interested in, and work hard, read. I don't know, play with your cat. Like those are things that you can do every day to fill the time, and then that'll just lead you in the right path. I think. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely. It was definitely baby steps. I think I'm just in a phase right now where I literally don't have time to do that right now.
yeah,
Even just fucking like gym and shit. I used to be a big gym guy, but like, fuck, I can't do any of that.
yeah,
Um, I think maybe I think honestly though, after like hearing your thoughts and stuff, I think the main block or barrier is like I have a very strong sense of me and a strong like I guess ego or pride of adhering to me and sticking with it. But then the challenge that comes with that is like how does that translate into the digital space or like because I know with my personality it's more I thrive in person to person, face to face environments. But then from a monetary financial sense, it's like digital just seems to be where it's at. And also from a person to person thing, it's like I'm really bad at staying close with one group of people for a very long time.
yeah,
So like it's like I'm an introverted extrovert, if You've probably heard that a lot. So it's just
I am kind of. I'm super introverted, but like I'm totally if like I'm technically very extroverted, but I'm actually introverted.
Like, you and I are like right on the opposite side. So like this is right in the middle. You're like on the introverted side, and I'm on the extroverted side.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I think it's just the translation is very difficult in terms of like how do I translate me into a hobby kind of thing.
Yeah.
How do
I guess that's the hard part is everyone is different. Like I can't be you and I know how to be me, but I don't know how to be you. You know what I'm saying? I know what works for me.
How did Justin Odisho translate into tutorials?
Well,
I guess teaching people, helping people you liked.
Well, the thing is, like, also it's not necessarily that I translated it online. I kind of became a different person too because I put so much work and time into it. It kind of became part of me. I mean, I'm the same person, but like it is a part of me that my work is digital media, it's online, and so it is something that I spend a big part of my day on, so it is a part of me. How did it happen? When I was a kid, I just got into video editing, and then I just started making videos online, but then they started getting demonetized because it was just like top 10 Kanye West songs. And then I was like, well, what can I do that won't get demonetized? Because I like making videos more than... It doesn't matter what kind of videos, I just like making videos and posting them and seeing if I can get people to watch them. And then I was like, well, what can I do that won't get demonetized? Photoshop was pretty big hobby in my life at the time, and I knew it. And I saw other people were teaching it online, and I was like, I could do that similarly as well. And I started a channel, I started posting Photoshop tutorials, and then school and life, and I worked jobs, and I stopped, and I started, and then by the time I graduated, I was like, all right, well, let me go back to my roots, but I'm going to do it as a smarter, older version of me and figure it out. And I just, like, threw a bunch of stuff at the wall and made it work. And going in, I don't know, like, I don't know if I would have had the ability to do it if I would have known how much it would take. I just kind of had blind faith. I can't believe that it kind of worked. Maybe it's still not going to work. Maybe it works for 1 year and it's going to be like, I don't know.
You're too smart for that, dude.
I don't know, but like, I made it work for 1 year.
I see. Damn, dude. Did you go full time right away?
No, I transitioned. I have a video on my channel called "How I Quit." It's like it's like an hour long. Maybe you could listen to it next time you're like driving or something. But I totally slowly transitioned. I like saved up money. I like went more part time at my job, and then I just had like enough savings for a couple months of like renting the studio place, and I just once you start, like I accidentally started, and like once I guess once I start something, like then every time I go to sleep, I'm like my brain is trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together, and 365 days of putting work in, you have enough progress to where you're able to float, and then another 365 days of putting work in, now you're doing well, and now it's just like you said, now you're too far gone. I mean, I don't have it all figured out either, but like.
Oh, absolutely. But like, I always appreciate. I think it's just because within my personal circle of friends, there's nobody who's really doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just hard to.
What would you say I'm doing?